Imagine collapsing at a $500K wedding, fully conscious, while your sister whispers she's been poisoning you with oleander tea to steal your family's $20 franchise empire. But Eliza Papadakis switched the plates and exposed everything on the big screens. If this betrayal chills you, hit like because justice is about to serve cold.
Thank you, Eliza, for letting me share this. It's been a nightmare, but telling it helps heal. Here's how my sister's perfect plan unraveled. The flames from the Saganaki dance across my vision as I let my knees buckle, my body hitting the cold marble floor of the Rosewood Manor ballroom with a satisfying thud. Gasps echo through the crowd of 300 wedding guests, their champagne flutes frozen mid-sip as my sister Daphne rushes toward me in her lavender maid of honor dress. Eliza, oh my God, someone call 911. Her voice carries that perfect note of panic she's been practicing for months. She drops to her knees beside me, her manicured fingers checking my pulse with theatrical concern. I keep my breathing shallow, my eyes closed, every muscle limp. The Carrara marble beneath my cheek is shockingly cold, but I've endured worse these past 6 months. The murmur of concerned voices washes over me, Mrs. Castellanos asking if it's the heat, someone else wondering if I've been working too hard for this $500,000 wedding. Then Daphne leans close, her lips barely brushing my ear. To everyone else, it looks like a sister whispering comfort to her unconscious sibling. You stole my life, now I'm taking yours. Her voice is silk and venom, so quiet only I can hear. She doesn't know that I'm fully conscious, that every word is burning itself into my memory. She doesn't know that 3 days ago, I discovered exactly how she's been taking my life, one carefully measured dose at a time. 3 days earlier, Tuesday morning 9:15 am*. The call came while I was prepping Missy en place for the Castellanos rehearsal dinner. My hands were covered in olive oil and fresh oregano when my phone buzzed with an unknown number. Ms. Papadakis, this is Dr. Lena Petrova from MedTox Labs. I have your blood test results. I'd almost forgotten about the tests. After weeks of dizzy spells, heart palpitations, and what my regular doctor dismissed as stress from overwork, I'd insisted on comprehensive blood work. Something was wrong with my body, and I needed answers. The results are concerning, Dr. Petrova continued. You have significant levels of olendrin in your system. Ma'am, olendrin is a cardiotoxin from oleander plants. Has anyone been serving you unfamiliar teas? The wooden spoon slipped from my fingers, clattering against the stainless steel prep counter. Oleander. My eyes drifted through the kitchen window to our small herb garden, where vibrant pink oleander bushes lined the back fence, bushes that Daphne had lovingly transplanted from our late grandmother Sophia's garden just 6 months ago. The levels suggest chronic exposure, Dr. Petrova was saying. Small doses over time. It's actually quite dangerous. Olendrin can cause cardiac arrest if the dosage increases. You need to identify the source immediately. I hung up with trembling fingers, staring at the innocent-looking flowers swaying in the morning breeze. Daphne had been making me special herbal teas for months, claiming they would help with my stress. Always served in Yaya Sophia's delicate porcelain teacup, the one with hand-painted violets that had been our grandmother's favorite. For your nerves, sister, she'd say with that gentle smile I'd trusted my entire life. Yaya always said the old remedies were the best. 6 weeks earlier, initial meeting with Marcus Chen. The day everything changed started like any other Tuesday, until Marcus Chen walked into our small family restaurant in Astoria. I'd seen him on Food Network, the celebrity food investor who turned struggling family recipes into multi-million-dollar franchises. What I hadn't expected was for him to show up unannounced at Papadakis' kitchen, asking to try our grandmother's moussaka. Daphne and I worked in perfect synchronization that day, the way we had for 20 years since our parents died. She prepped the bechamel while I layered the lamb and eggplant, both of us following Yaya Sophia's handwritten recipe that we knew by heart. Marcus took one bite and closed his eyes. When he opened them, they were bright with possibility. This recipe could change everything, he said, looking directly at me. Your grandmother's legacy deserves to reach the world. I'm talking about a $15 million franchise deal, national expansion. Your family's story on every table in America. Daphne's smile never wavered, but I caught the tiny muscle that twitched in her jaw. The same tell she'd had since childhood when she wanted something she couldn't have. Eliza is the heart of everything we do, she said smoothly, her hand finding my shoulder. I just try to keep up with her brilliance. But Marcus was already pulling out his business card, pressing it into my palm. I'll have my team draw up preliminary contracts. This is exactly what the market needs, authentic family recipes with a story that matters. As he left, promising to call within the week, I should have noticed how quiet Daphne had become. I should have seen the way her fingers gripped the edge of the prep counter, knuckles white against the steel. Tuesday evening, after the doctor's call asterisk. I waited until we were alone in the commercial kitchen we rented for catering jobs, the space filled with the lingering aroma of garlic and fresh basil from the day's prep work. Daphne was cleaning her knife, set with methodical precision, each blade gleaming under the fluorescent lights. I know what you've been doing. She didn't even pause in her cleaning. You'll have to be more specific, sister. I do many things. The oleander tea, the poisoning, I have blood tests, Daphne. Her laugh was soft, almost musical. She set down the paring knife and turned to face me, and for the first time in my life, I didn't recognize the person looking back at me. Her dark eyes, so much like mine, held something cold and calculating that made my skin crawl. You think anyone will believe you? She tilted her head, studying me like I was an interesting specimen. I've spent 6 months making you look unstable. I have videos of your dizzy spells, emails where you sound confused and paranoid. You're the brilliant but broken artist who's been cracking under pressure. I'm the stable one who picks up the pieces. The casual cruelty in her voice hit me like a physical blow. Why? After everything I've done for you. Everything you've done asterisk to asterisk me. Her mask finally slipped, revealing 20 years of buried resentment. You forced me into this life, Eliza. When Mom and Dad died, you decided we'd keep the family business alive. Did you ever ask what I wanted? Did you ever consider that maybe I had my own dreams? You were 16. And you were 28? You could have sold the restaurant, used the money to send me to culinary school in Paris like I wanted. Instead, you trapped me here, playing sous chef to your head chef for 2 decades. The words hung between us like a blade. I thought of all the sacrifices I'd made, all the late nights working double shifts to keep us afloat, all the times I'd put her needs before my own dreams. So you decided to kill me. Her smile was serene, terrifying in its calmness. Just enough to make you unreliable, confused, prone to episodes that would concern potential business partners. Marcus Chen needs a stable face for his franchise, someone trustworthy. Wednesday morning, Eliza investigating alone. I arrived at our shared business office before dawn, my hands shaking as I unlocked the filing cabinets Daphne had insisted on organizing herself. What I found made my blood run cold. Financial reports with my signature forged to show erratic spending. Business plans rewritten to minimize my role and emphasize Daphne's steady leadership. Video files on her laptop, labeled with dates going back months, carefully edited footage of my dizzy spells and confused moments, stripped of context to make me look mentally unstable. She'd been building a case against me with the methodical precision she brought to her knife work. Every stumble caused by her poisoning had been documented. Every moment of confusion had been captured and edited to paint me as unreliable. In a folder marked MC Presentation, I found a PowerPoint deck titled Protecting the Papadakis' Legacy, Why Stability Matters. Slide after slide of my concerning behavior, complete with timestamps and medical-sounding language about stress-induced episodes and the need for consistent leadership. She didn't just want to hurt me, she wanted to erase me entirely. The realization hit me like a physical blow. This wasn't a crime of passion or sibling rivalry gone wrong. This was a calculated campaign to steal not just my business, but my identity, my legacy, everything that made me who I was. I sat in that office as the sun rose, surrounded by evidence of my sister's betrayal, and felt something cold and hard crystallize in my chest. If Daphne wanted to play a long game, I could play one too. Thursday afternoon, day before the wedding. I called Marcus Chen's office and begged for an emergency meeting. His assistant tried to put me off, but I played the family card, stressed small business owner having pre-wedding jitters about the biggest deal of her life. Marcus met me at a coffee shop in Midtown, his expression politely concerned but distant. I'd rehearsed this conversation a dozen times, but sitting across from him, I felt my carefully planned words crumble. "Marcus, I need to tell you something about my sister. She's been..." "Eliza," his voice was gentle but firm. "Daphne already warned me you might try something like this." The world tilted. "What?" He pulled out his phone, scrolling to a video file. "She showed me some concerning footage yesterday. The dizzy spells, the confusion during prep work. She's worried about you." On his screen, I watched myself stumble during sauce preparation, looking disoriented and unstable. The timestamp showed last week, but the context was completely wrong. He couldn't see that I'd just had another bout of oleander-induced heart palpitations. "She thinks the stress of the franchise deal might be too much right now," Marcus continued. "Perhaps it's time to let someone else carry the torch while you focus on getting better." He slid new contracts across the table. Daphne's name was listed as head chef and primary creative director. My role had been reduced to creative consultant with a fraction of the original compensation. "This protects everyone," he said kindly. "The brand, the family recipes, and most importantly, your health. Daphne has proven she can handle the business side while honoring your grandmother's legacy." I stared at the papers, my sister's perfect forgery of my grandmother's signature authorizing the recipe transfer. Even in death, Yaya Sophia was being used as a weapon against me. "Take some time to think about it," Marcus said, standing to leave. "But Daphne is right. The Castellano's wedding tomorrow will be a good test of how you handle pressure. We'll be watching." Present wedding day, bridal suite recovery. Now I lie alone in the Rosewood Manor's luxurious bridal suite, supposedly recovering from my dramatic collapse. The concerned voices have faded as the wedding party returns to their celebration downstairs. Someone, probably Daphne, told them I just needed rest and would be fine. My phone buzzes with a notification from our kitchen's cloud backup system. I'd installed micro cameras throughout our workspace months ago for training videos and security, but I'd forgotten about the automatic uploads until now. With trembling fingers, I scroll through weeks of footage. There, Daphne preparing my morning tea, adding drops from a small brown bottle to the steaming cup. Another clip of her grinding dried oleander, leaves with a mortar and pestle, the same one Yaya used for her spice blends. Video after video of my sister methodically poisoning me while wearing the face of someone who loved me. But it's the final video that makes my breath catch. Yesterday morning, Daphne in our kitchen, talking to someone off camera, Marcus Chen's voice is unmistakable. "The transition needs to look natural," he's saying. "Eliza is clearly unstable, but we can't have any legal complications." "Don't worry," Daphne replies, stirring something into a sauce pot. "After tomorrow's wedding, everyone will see she can't handle the pressure. The franchise will be mine, and she'll be too broken to fight it." They're not just business partners, they're conspirators. I close my eyes, feeling the weight of betrayal settle into my bones. Everyone thinks I'm broken, that I'm the unstable sister who needs protecting from herself. Tomorrow, Marcus will officially transfer the franchise rights to Daphne, and I'll become a footnote in my own family's story. But they've made one crucial mistake. Everyone thinks I'm broken, so no one will see my counterattack coming. I open my laptop and begin uploading files to the wedding venue's audio-visual system. If Daphne wants a public stage for my final humiliation, I'll give her one she'll never forget. The wedding reception is about to become very interesting. Friday morning, 6:30 a.m. wedding day, 12 hours before ceremony. The notification chime from my phone cuts through the pre-dawn silence of my apartment. Another cloud backup upload from our kitchen's security system. I've been getting these automated alerts for months, but today something makes me pause mid-sip of my coffee, real coffee, not Daphne's poisoned tea. My fingers tremble as I open the cloud storage app. Weeks of footage stretch back in neat chronological order, but it's the search function that changes everything. I type Daphne and morning prep, and watch months of evidence unfold. The first video shows her 3 months ago, carefully editing security footage on her laptop. I watch in horrified fascination as she cuts out the moments before my dizzy spells, the moments where she hands me tea or offers me a taste of sauce. She's creating a narrative where I simply collapse without cause, making me look unstable and unreliable. But it's the audio from last Tuesday that makes my blood freeze. The camera caught her on a phone call, her voice crystal clear as she stirred something into a small glass jar. "You should have just let me have my moment, big sister. But you never could share the spotlight, could you? 20 years I've watched you play the martyred saint, the devoted older sister who sacrificed everything. Well, now it's my turn to sacrifice something, you." She's talking to herself, practicing her justifications like lines in a play. The casual cruelty in her voice, the complete lack of remorse. This isn't the sister I raised. This is someone who's been planning my destruction with the same methodical precision she brings to knife work. But then I find another recording that chills me to the bone. Daphne alone in the kitchen, practicing what sounds like a speech. "You stole my life, now I'm taking yours." She says it over and over, perfecting the delivery, the venom, the timing. It's a rehearsal for my murder. I screenshot the timestamps, my hands shaking as I realize I now have concrete proof. Not just of the poisoning, but of the systematic campaign to destroy my reputation and steal my life's work. Friday, 8:45 a.m. wedding preparation begins. I arrive at the Rosewood Manor's prep kitchen early, hoping to catch Daphne before the day's chaos begins. The massive commercial space gleams under fluorescent lights, stainless steel surfaces reflecting my haggard face back at me. I've barely slept, my mind churning with strategies and confrontations. Daphne is already there, of course, moving with her usual grace as she arranges ingredients for the day's service. She's wearing her lucky apron, the one with Yaya Sophia's embroidered initials, and humming softly under her breath. The picture of innocence. "You're early," she says without looking up, her knife moving in precise strokes through fresh herbs. "Nervous about today." I watch her hands, those familiar fingers that taught me card games and braided my hair when she was small. Now they're preparing what I know will be my final meal if I'm not careful. I found the cloud footage, Daphne. Her knife stills for just a moment, a tell so subtle that only someone who's known her for 32 years would catch it. Then she continues chopping, her smile never wavering. "Found what footage, sister?" "The videos of you editing security files, the audio of you confessing, the proof that you've been systematically poisoning me for months." She sets down her knife and turns to face me, and I see it again, that cold calculation that's replaced the warmth I remember. "Oh, Eliza, you sound paranoid again. Are you feeling all right?" But I'm watching her hands now, watching as she moves to the sauce station where 2 identical pans of Saganaki sauce simmer. She adds fresh oregano to both, but then reaches for a small brown bottle tucked behind the olive oil. "What's in the bottle, Daphne?" Her laugh is musical, terrifying in its lightness. "Just my special touch. You know how particular Marcus is about authentic flavors." I watch in horror as she adds 3 drops to one pan, the one marked with a small M for Marcus, and then turns to my personal tasting plate, the one I always sample before service. 7 drops this time, enough to send me into cardiac arrest. "Today, everything changes," she says, stirring the poisoned sauce with loving care. "The investors, the business, the family legacy, it all becomes mine. And you, dear sister, will finally stop standing in my way." The casual way she talks about murdering me, as if discussing the weather, makes my knees weak. This isn't about incapacitation anymore. This is about permanent removal. Friday, 10:15 a.m. wedding setup continues. Christina Vasquez finds me in the prep kitchen's walk-in cooler, where I'm hyperventilating among hanging sides of beef and cases of champagne. My sous chef of 5 years takes one look at my face and immediately closes the heavy door behind her. "Eliza, what's wrong? You look like you've seen a ghost." Christina has been my anchor through every catering disaster, every impossible deadline, every moment when I wanted to give up on the family business. If anyone deserves to know the truth, it's her. "I need to show you something," I whisper, pulling out my phone. But you have to promise me you won't react until you see all of it. Her dark eyes narrow with concern, but she nods. I play the cloud footage, the poisoning, the editing, Daphne's recorded confession. Christina's face goes through a dozen emotions: confusion, disbelief, horror, and finally, rage. "That bitch," she breathes. "That calculating, psychotic bitch. We have to call the police right now." With what proof? She's been building a case against me for months. Everyone thinks I'm unstable. They'll say I fabricated the videos, that I'm having a breakdown. Christina grabs my shoulders, her grip firm and grounding. "This is too important. I'm downloading a copy to a thumb drive right now. Cloud accounts can be hacked, deleted, manipulated. We need physical backup." She pulls a USB drive from her keychain, her fingers flying over my phone screen as she transfers files. "My cousin Rosa is a detective with NYPD. She'll know how to handle this properly." For the first time in days, I feel a spark of hope. Maybe I don't have to face this alone. Maybe there's still a way to stop Daphne without destroying everything we've built. But even as Christina works, I can hear Daphne's voice drifting from the main kitchen, cheerfully directing the prep staff. She's already won over Marcus, convinced him I'm unstable. By tonight, she'll have everything she's ever wanted. Unless I can prove what she really is. Friday, 1:00 p.m., ceremony in 5 hours. The wedding coordinator's emergency meeting takes place in the manor's opulent library, surrounded by leather-bound books and oil paintings of stern-faced ancestors. Victoria Sterling, the bride's social media manager, has her laptop open to a dozen different platforms, each showing real-time updates from the wedding preparation. The Castellanos' wedding is trending on 3 platforms, Victoria announces, her perfectly manicured nails clicking against her keyboard. "We have 200,000 followers watching the live prep streams. Any disruption will be seen by hundreds of thousands of people." James Whitmore, the wedding coordinator and son of the bride's family patriarch, adjusts his expensive tie with obvious anxiety. "My father has made it very clear that this wedding represents our family's reputation in society. Theodore Whitmore's name is attached to this event." He fixes me with a stare that could freeze champagne. "This wedding represents my family's reputation. Any problems, and you'll be finished in this industry forever. We have contracts with penalty clauses that would bankrupt a small country." I think about the poison waiting in my tasting plate, about Daphne's plan to make me collapse during the most public moment possible. The irony isn't lost on me. She wants an audience for my destruction, and she's certainly going to get one. "Of course," I manage to say, "everything will go perfectly." But Victoria is already live-streaming our conversation, her followers commenting in real time about the behind-the-scenes drama and cater tensions. If I expose Daphne now, it won't just destroy her. It'll destroy the Castellanos family, the Whitmores, and every vendor associated with this wedding. The social media trap is already sprung. Whatever happens tonight, it will be broadcast to the world. Friday, 3:00 p.m., ceremony in 3 hours. Christina bursts into the prep kitchen's office where I'm reviewing final service notes, her face flushed with anger and something that looks like betrayal. "It's not just Daphne," she says, thrusting her phone at me. "Look at this." The text message thread is between Daphne and someone listed as Nick P. in her contacts. My stomach drops as I realize who that is: Nicholas Papadakis, our estranged cousin who's been bitter about being excluded from the family business since our parents died. "Nick, is everything in place for tonight?" "Daphne, the final dose is prepared. Marcus will see her collapse during the most important service of her career." "Nick, and then?" "Daphne, then we honor grandmother's true wishes. She always said the business should go to someone who could handle the pressure." Christina scrolls to an earlier message that makes my blood boil. "Once Eliza is out of the picture, we can finally honor grandmother's true wishes. The franchise deal will make us both rich." "How did you get these?" I ask, though part of me doesn't want to know. She left her phone charging in the break room. The messages were right there on the lock screen. Christina's voice is tight with fury. "Your own cousin, Eliza, your own family." The betrayal cuts deeper than Daphne's poisoning. Nicholas was at every family dinner, every holiday celebration. When he complained about being excluded from the business, I thought it was just wounded pride. I never imagined he was actively plotting against me. There's more, Christina says grimly. I called my cousin Rosa. She ran a background check on Marcus Chen. His last 3 franchise deals involved hostile takeovers of family businesses. He finds established restaurants with internal conflicts and exploits them. The pieces fall into place with sickening clarity. Marcus didn't discover us by accident. He was brought in by Nicholas and Daphne, who have been planning this coup for months, maybe years. Friday, 4:30 p.m. ceremony beginning, cocktail hour in 2 hours. I sit alone in the Manor's chapel, watching 300 guests celebrate the Castellanos' union while my own family falls apart. The ceremony is beautiful, white roses and baby's breath, a string quartet playing Pachelbel's canon, the bride radiant in vintage lace that probably cost more than my annual rent. My fingers twist around Yaya Sophia's gold wedding band, the one she left me with its inscription worn smooth by decades of wear. The truth has its own flavor. She used to say that when I was learning to cook, when I'd try to hide mistakes with extra seasoning or elaborate garnishes. You cannot mask bad ingredients with good technique, she'd tell me, her weathered hands guiding mine as we kneaded bread. The truth has its own flavor, bitter at first, but it cleanses the palate. Through the chapel's stained glass windows, I can see Daphne accepting congratulations from guests who already think of her as the head chef. She's wearing our grandmother's pearl earrings, the ones she claimed from the jewelry box before I could object, and playing the role of the stable, responsible sister who's stepping up during my health crisis. Marcus Chen stands beside her, his hand on her shoulder in a gesture that looks supportive but feels possessive. They're already acting like business partners, like my 20 years of sacrifice and dedication were just a placeholder until the real talent could take over. My phone buzzes with a text from Christina. The backup files are secure. Rosa is standing by. Whatever you decide to do, I'm with you. I close my eyes and feel something cold and hard crystallize in my chest. Grandmother Sophia always said the truth has its own flavor, bitter at first, but it cleanses the palate. Tonight, I'm going to serve the truth to 300 guests and let them decide who deserves to carry our family's legacy. If Daphne wants a public stage for my destruction, she's about to get a performance she'll never forget. The wedding reception is about to become a reckoning 20 years in the making. The flames from the Saganaki dance across my vision as I let my knees buckle, my body hitting the cold marble floor of the Rosewood Manor ballroom with a satisfying thud. Gasps echo through the crowd of 300 wedding guests, their champagne flutes frozen mid-sip as my sister Daphne rushes toward me in her lavender maid of honor dress. Eliza, oh my God, someone call 911. Her voice carries that perfect note of panic she's been practicing for months. She drops to her knees beside me, her manicured fingers checking my pulse with theatrical concern. I keep my breathing shallow, my eyes closed, every muscle limp. The Carrara marble beneath my cheek is shockingly cold, but I've endured worse these past 6 months. The murmur of concerned voices washes over me, Mrs. Castellanos asking if it's the heat, someone else wondering if I've been working too hard. Then Daphne leans close, her lips barely brushing my ear. To everyone else, it looks like a sister whispering comfort to her unconscious sibling. You stole my life, now I'm taking yours. Her voice is silk and venom, so quiet only I can hear. She doesn't know that I'm fully conscious, that every word is burning itself into my memory. She doesn't know that 3 days ago, I discovered exactly how she's been taking my life, one carefully measured dose at a time. But I've switched the plates. The poisoned Saganaki meant for my final collapse now sits untouched on the service counter, while the clean version rests safely in my stomach. For once, I'm 3 steps ahead. Daphne rises gracefully, turning to the concerned crowd with tears glistening in her dark eyes. I've been covering for my sister's problems, trying to protect our family business. This breakdown proves she needs help, not responsibility. The crowd murmurs sympathetically. Marcus Chen pushes through, his face a mask of professional concern, but I catch the calculating gleam in his eyes. This is exactly what he's been waiting for, public proof that I can't handle pressure. Victoria Sterling is already live streaming, her phone capturing every moment for her hundreds of thousands of followers. "Dramatic collapse at the Castellano's wedding," she whispers to her camera. "The head chef just went down during service." Perfect. Daphne wants a public stage for my destruction, and she's certainly getting one. The bridal suite silk wallpaper blurs as I'm helped upstairs, playing my role of the broken chef while my mind races. Through the partially open door, I can hear the reception continuing below, laughter, clinking glasses, the string quartet playing something light and celebratory. But the real performance is happening right here in this room. Theodore Whitmore storms in first, his face purple with rage. This is exactly what I was afraid of: unreliable vendors destroying my family's reputation. He's already on his phone with his lawyers, his voice carrying through the room like a sledgehammer. I want breach of contract suits filed immediately. Reckless endangerment, public humiliation, damage to the Whitmore name. Marcus follows, his expression shifting from concern to cold business calculation the moment he thinks I'm unconscious. He pulls out his phone and begins dictating to his assistant. "Draft new contracts immediately. Primary franchise rights transfer to Daphne Papadakis, effective immediately. The head chef position requires someone stable, someone who can handle pressure." The words hit me like physical blows. 20 years of building this business, 20 years of sacrifice, and it's being dismantled in real time while I lie here pretending to be broken. But it's the conversation drifting through the door that destroys me completely. Victoria Sterling's voice, bright with social media excitement. "This is going viral already. Unstable chef collapses at society wedding. The family business is finished." I crack open one eye to see my phone on the nightstand, notifications flooding the screen. But they're not sympathy messages, they're cancellations. 3 corporate catering contracts gone, the anniversary party for the Greek consulate canceled, 2 restaurant partnerships terminated effective immediately. And then I watch in real-time horror as the cloud storage notifications start appearing. Someone is accessing our backup files. Someone is deleting evidence. My fingers tremble as I swipe to the security app. The videos of Daphne poisoning me, the audio confessions, the text messages with Nicholas. They're disappearing one by one, erased as efficiently as if they never existed. She's not just destroying my present. She's erasing the proof of her crimes, making sure I can never fight back. The thumb drive with Christina, it's my only hope now, but security has cleared the kitchen staff out after my medical emergency. Christina is locked out, and the evidence might as well be on the moon. How can I get to it? How can I prove anything when the truth itself is being deleted faster than I can save it? My phone buzzes with an incoming call just as the room finally empties. Nicholas Papadakis. My cousin's name on the screen makes my stomach lurch, but I need to know how deep this conspiracy goes. "Cousin," his voice is smooth, satisfied. "I heard about your little episode tonight, such a shame." "Nicholas," I keep my voice weak, playing the role of the defeated sister. "What do you want?" "I want what's rightfully mine, what grandmother Sophia always intended." His tone shifts, becoming harder, more entitled. "I've been working with Daphne for months, Eliza. Someone had to step in and honor the family's true wishes." The betrayal cuts deeper than any poison. "What are you talking about?" "Grandmother Sophia always intended those recipes for the men in the family. You and your sister were just supposed to cook them, not profit from them." His laugh is bitter, resentful. 20 years I've watched you play the martyred saint, building an empire on recipes that belonged to my bloodline. Well, now it's time for proper leadership." I can barely breathe. Nicholas was at every family dinner, every holiday celebration. When he complained about being excluded from the business, I thought it was wounded pride. I never imagined he believed he had some patriarchal right to our grandmother's legacy. "Daphne understands the natural order," he continues. "She'll run the day-to-day operations, but the franchise rights will be properly managed by someone with business sense, someone who won't let emotions cloud judgment." "You're talking about stealing everything I've built." "I'm talking about correcting a 20-year mistake. Tonight was just the beginning, cousin. By tomorrow, the Papadakis' name will finally be in the right hands." The line goes dead, leaving me alone with the devastating truth. This isn't just about sibling rivalry or business jealousy. This is about a fundamental belief that I never deserved what I've built, that my gender disqualifies me from carrying our family's legacy. The grandfather clock in the hallway chimes 8:30 as I force myself to stand. Dessert service is beginning downstairs, the final course, the last chance to salvage anything from this disaster. But when I slip down the servants' staircase to the kitchen level, I discover Daphne's final trap. The estate's projection system, the massive screens I'd planned to use for my evidence reveal, displays a simple message: technical difficulties. System temporarily disabled. I find the AV control room locked, the equipment powered down. A note in Daphne's handwriting sits on the console: "Anticipated your desperation, sister. Always one step ahead." She's thorough. She anticipated I would try to fight back and disabled the most obvious weapon. She's disabled the technology, eliminated my evidence, and turned my own family against me. I stand in that darkened control room, surrounded by useless equipment, and feel the weight of absolute defeat. No accessible evidence, no allies within reach, no way to broadcast the truth to the 300 guests who think I'm insane. Just me, my voice, and a crowd that already believes I'm unstable. Through the floor, I can hear the dessert service beginning. Daphne's voice drifts up through the vents, graciously accepting congratulations on stepping up during a family crisis. She's probably wearing our grandmother's pearl earrings, playing the role of the devoted sister who's sacrificing her own dreams to save the family business. The irony is suffocating. She's positioned herself as the hero of this story while casting me as the tragic figure who couldn't handle success. But as I stand there in the darkness, something shifts inside me. A memory surfaces, Yaya Sophia's voice from 20 years ago, teaching me to make her famous honey cakes. When the oven breaks, you find another way to bake. When the recipe fails, you trust your hands to know the truth. The kitchen always provides a way, little one. You just have to be brave enough to take it. I close my eyes and feel that cold, hard determination crystallize into something sharper, something dangerous. Daphne wants to erase me from my own story. Fine. But she's forgotten something crucial about the woman who raised her, who sacrificed everything to keep our family's legacy alive. She locked the main system, but grandmother taught me to find another way. The kitchen always provides. The dessert service is about to become a reckoning 20 years in the making. And this time, I'm not playing the victim. Grandmother, give me strength for one last recipe. The grandfather clock chimes 8:45 as I slip back into the ballroom through the service entrance, my hair disheveled just enough to sell the story of a woman barely recovered from collapse. The dessert course preparation buzzes around me, servers arranging golden baklava on crystal plates, the sweet aroma of honey and pistachios filling the air. James Whitmore spots me immediately, his face darkening with professional concern and barely concealed irritation. "Ms. Papadakis, you should be resting. After your episode, perhaps it's best if..." "Please," I interrupt, letting my voice carry just the right note of humble desperation. "I know I've caused problems tonight. I just want to make things right." I pause, letting tears gather in my eyes, real ones, born from months of betrayal and pain. After everything that's happened, I want to honor the family traditions that brought us all together. The wedding coordinator's expression softens slightly. Behind him, I can see Daphne across the room, graciously accepting congratulations from Marcus Chen and several prominent food industry guests. She's wearing our grandmother's pearl earrings, playing the role of the devoted sister who stepped up during crisis. "I was hoping," I continue, "to share a small family tribute video. Nothing elaborate, just some photos of our grandmother Sophia teaching us as children. A slideshow from my laptop on the side screens, a little tribute to the woman whose recipes brought us here tonight." James glances toward the main projection system, still displaying technical difficulties. "I'm sorry, but the main projector is down, and after tonight's disruptions." "Oh no, I just wanted to use the side screens for a small slideshow from my laptop. Nothing fancy." I gesture toward the smaller monitors positioned around the ballroom's perimeter. Just a quiet moment to honor Grandmother Sophia before the evening ends. His resistance wavers. The Whitmore family built their reputation on tradition and family values, Refusing a grieving granddaughter's tribute would look heartless, especially with Victoria Sterling's cameras still rolling. I suppose the side screens would be acceptable, he says finally, but keep it brief. I nod gratefully, then create my distraction. Oh, I think I left my laptop charger in the kitchen. Could someone help me? I'm still feeling a bit unsteady. As James dispatches a server to escort me, I catch Christina's eye across the room. She's been relegated to the staff area after my medical emergency, but she understands my signal immediately. While I'm being helped toward the kitchen, she slips away toward the service corridor where she's hidden the thumb drive. The pieces are falling into place. Daphne disabled the main projection system, but she forgot about the peripheral screens, the ones controlled by a separate, simpler system that any laptop can access. Sometimes the most sophisticated plans are defeated by the simplest oversight. 9 o'clock arrives with the gentle chime of crystal against crystal as Marcus Chen rises from the head table, wine glass in hand. The 300 guests turn their attention toward him, their faces glowing in the warm candlelight of the Rosewood Manor ballroom. "Ladies and gentlemen," Marcus begins, his voice carrying the authority of someone accustomed to commanding rooms full of investors. "Tonight we've witnessed not just the union of two beautiful souls, but the power of family traditions that bind us across generations." The crowd murmurs appreciatively as servers begin distributing the final course, golden baklava arranged on antique crystal plates, each piece glistening with honey and crowned with crushed pistachios. The dessert represents hours of careful preparation, following our grandmother's recipe exactly as she taught us 30 years ago. "I'm particularly moved," Marcus continues, "by the resilience and dedication of the Papadakis family, whose recipes have graced our table tonight. Despite personal challenges, they've honored their commitment to excellence." He gestures toward Daphne, who stands gracefully and offers a modest smile to the applauding crowd. She's positioned herself perfectly, the stable, reliable sister who stepped up during crisis. Several guests raise their glasses in her direction. "Family recipes are more than food," I say quietly into the wireless microphone I've discreetly activated, my voice carrying through the ballroom's sound system. "They're trust, passed down through generations. But what happens when that trust is poisoned?" The room falls silent, confused murmurs rippling through the crowd as they search for the source of the unexpected narration. On the peripheral screens around the ballroom, warm family photos begin to appear, our grandmother Sophia teaching two young girls to roll phyllo dough, her weathered hands guiding small fingers, her face radiant with love and pride. Marcus raises his wine glass higher, apparently choosing to incorporate my tribute into his toast. Indeed, trust is the most precious ingredient in any family recipe. But I can see Daphne's face from across the room, her smile frozen as she realizes something is wrong. The photos on the screens are supposed to be a simple tribute, but there's something in my voice, a confidence she didn't expect from her broken, defeated sister. The music stops abruptly as the warm family photos cut to crystal-clear security footage. The ballroom's ambient chatter dies instantly, replaced by the mechanical whir of cameras and the sharp intake of 300 simultaneous breaths. On every peripheral screen around the room, Daphne appears in high definition, standing in our commercial kitchen with a small brown bottle in her hand. The timestamp shows 3 days ago. Her face is clearly visible as she measures drops of clear liquid into a glass jar, her expression focused and methodical. "What you're seeing," my voice echoes through the sound system, "is my sister Daphne preparing oleander extract, a deadly cardiotoxin she's been adding to my food for 6 months." The footage switches to another angle, showing Daphne stirring the poison into a saucepot marked with a small E for Eliza. Then another clip of her grinding dried oleander leaves with our grandmother's mortar and pestle, the same one Yaya Sophia used for her healing spice blends. Gasps echo through the ballroom as guests realize what they're witnessing. Theodore Whitmore rises from his chair, his face pale with shock. Victoria Sterling's phone is already recording, her followers watching in real time as a society wedding transforms into a criminal confession. But it's the audio that destroys Daphne completely. Her own voice, recorded as she practiced her deadly speech, fills the ballroom with crystal clarity. "You stole my life, now I'm taking yours." The room erupts in horrified murmurs as the final video clip plays. Daphne adding 7 drops of oleander extract to my personal tasting plate this morning, enough to cause cardiac arrest. Her face on screen is serene, almost peaceful, as she prepares to murder her own sister. The ballroom falls into absolute silence as Daphne's own words echo through the sound system, her confession hanging in the air like poison gas. 300 pairs of eyes turn toward her, their expressions shifting from confusion to horror to disgust in real time. Daphne stands frozen at the head table, her face draining of all color as she watches her own methodical preparation for murder displayed on screens around the room. The crystal wine glass slips from her trembling fingers, shattering against the marble floor with a sound like breaking bones. "No," she whispers, but the wireless microphones pick up even that. This is edited, fabricated. She's having another breakdown." But her protests die as the final video clip plays. Security footage from this morning showing her adding poison to Marcus Chen's sauce as well. Her insurance policy to ensure the investor would witness my dramatic collapse firsthand. Marcus Chen's face transforms from confusion to fury as he realizes he was also targeted. "You tried to poison me too?" His voice carries across the silent ballroom. "You used me as a witness to your sister's attempted murder." The weight of 300 stares, the horror in every face, the complete destruction of her carefully crafted image. It's too much. Daphne's eyes roll back in her head, her knees buckle, and she crumples to the floor in a dead faint, her body hitting the marble with a sickening thud that echoes through the ballroom. The irony is perfect. She planned for me to collapse publicly, to be humiliated and broken in front of the most important people in our industry. Instead, she's the one lying unconscious on the floor while cameras capture every moment of her downfall. Theodore Whitmore is already on his phone with 911, his voice sharp with authority. "We need police and paramedics at Rosewood Manor immediately. We have evidence of attempted murder at a wedding reception." As paramedics revive Daphne and help her to a chair, Marcus Chen strides across the ballroom toward me, his expression a mixture of admiration and professional respect. The crowd parts before him like water, their whispered conversations creating a buzz of electricity in the air. "Ms. Papadakis," he says, his voice carrying clearly through the ballroom's acoustics, "I owe you an apology, and considerably more than that." He pulls out his phone, making a call that everyone can hear. "Cancel the Daphne Papadakis contracts immediately. All franchise rights revert to Eliza Papadakis with a 25% increase in the original terms. $20 million, effective immediately." The crowd murmurs appreciatively, but I'm not finished. I take the microphone properly now, my voice steady and clear as I address the room. "Ladies and gentlemen, I also want you to know that Nicholas Papadakis' partnership in this venture has been permanently terminated. His belief that women shouldn't control family businesses has no place in my grandmother's legacy." Several guests nod approvingly. The food industry may be traditional, but attempted murder crosses every line of professional conduct. But it's my final words that will be quoted in every industry publication tomorrow. "My sister was right about one thing. I stole her life. I took the life she planned for me, one of sickness, failure, and obscurity, and I'm giving it back to her tonight. Enjoy it." The ballroom erupts in spontaneous applause. Even the bride and groom, who have been watching in stunned silence, begin clapping. Victoria Sterling's live-stream comments are exploding with support, her followers sharing the video across every platform. Marcus extends his hand to me, and his handshake seals more than a business deal. It's a recognition of survival, intelligence, and the kind of strength that can't be poisoned away. Detective Maria Rodriguez arrives just as Daphne fully regains consciousness, her badge gleaming under the ballroom's crystal chandeliers. The detective's presence transforms the elegant wedding reception into a crime scene, but somehow the formal setting makes the arrest even more powerful. "Daphne Papadakis," Detective Rodriguez announces, her voice carrying the weight of legal authority, You're under arrest for attempted murder, conspiracy, and fraud. You have the right to remain silent." As the Miranda rights echo through the ballroom, Daphne's eyes find mine across the room. For a moment, I see the little sister I raised, the child who used to braid my hair and help me with homework. But that person is gone, replaced by someone who chose jealousy over love, poison over partnership. "This isn't over," she whispers as the handcuffs click into place, but her words carry no power now. The evidence is overwhelming, the witnesses are hundreds, and her confession was broadcast live to thousands. After Daphne is physically removed by the authorities, I raise my wine glass to the stunned but supportive crowd. The crystal catches the light, sending rainbow prisms across the room, beautiful and complex, like the truth itself. "To my sister Daphne," I say, my voice carrying clearly through the ballroom, "who taught me the most important lesson in any recipe: always know exactly what goes into it. And to my grandmother Sophia, who taught me that the truth, like the finest wine, only gets stronger with time." The crowd raises their glasses in response, 300 voices joining in a toast that feels like vindication, like justice, like the end of a very long nightmare. As the evening winds down and guests begin to depart, I stand in the Rosewood Manor's marble foyer, surrounded by people who now see me not as a victim, but as a survivor. The wedding guests, initially shocked by the evening's revelations, have transformed into supporters, many pressing business cards into my hands and requesting meetings. Marcus Chen approaches one final time, a formal contract in his hands. $20 million, he says simply. "Your grandmother's recipes deserve to reach the world, and you've proven you have the strength to carry that legacy." Christina emerges from the crowd, no longer barred by security, and wraps me in a fierce embrace. "Rosa says the evidence is airtight," she whispers. "Daphne won't see freedom for years, and Nicholas is already being investigated for conspiracy." Through the manor's tall windows, I can see police cars departing with their prisoner, their red and blue lights fading into the night. The woman who tried to erase me from my own story is gone, and I'm still standing. I touch my grandmother's wedding band, feeling its familiar weight on my finger. The inscription catches the light. The truth has its own flavor. Tonight, I finally understand what she meant. The truth is bitter at first, painful to swallow, but it cleanses everything: the palate, the conscience, the soul. Grandmother Sophia was right, I say quietly, more to myself than to anyone else. The truth does have its own flavor, and tonight it tastes like justice. As I walk out of Rosewood Manor into the cool night air, I'm no longer the woman who collapsed on this marble floor hours ago. I'm the granddaughter of Sophia Papadakis, the guardian of family recipes that will now feed the world, and the survivor of a poisoning that only made me stronger. The recipe of truth, it turns out, is the most nourishing dish of all.
Eliza, thank you for sharing your incredible story of survival and truth prevailing over betrayal. This teaches us that even in the closest family bonds, hidden resentments can poison everything, literally. But evidence and courage can turn the tables. What would you have done if your sibling tried to erase your legacy? Comment below, and if you loved this justice moment, like and subscribe for more. I'm Eliza Quinn, and remember, here on Wedding Day Justice, veils off, justice on.